Hi, this is Peggy at Portraits by Peggy, and today I have Patrick Russell Burton with me.
Hi, that's me. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
So tell me, we know each other. We've worked together on projects, and in fact, I just did his headshots.
It's true. She did a fantabulous job.
But you started out wanting to be an actor, and now you're an amazing producer and filmmaker. And when I say he's a fabulous, I really, everybody has their own style and their own art. I really like your style. So I can honestly say that I really love watching your work, because I just personally think, artistically I like it. So
that's a huge compliment. Thank you, Peggy.
So tell us how you ended up doing what you do, and then we can talk about some other stuff. But give us a little quick, if it's possible.
Yeah, I can give you the condensed version. Sure. I started out, I wanted to be an actor all through high school. I did the theater thing that so many actors do. And when I got to UCSD for my undergrad, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and my mom just bought me a camera. And I really, rather than waiting to get booked for jobs, I wanted to create something for myself. And so I pulled out my camera and I started shooting a mockumentary type show. I just made up a character for myself and for a couple of my friends, and I was like, here, do this.
So the way to make sure that you book a job is to create the job.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure you get in on the project, make the project.
Absolutely. And that's something that we're seeing more and more these days, is that people are getting famous on YouTube by uploading their own content. And now a real big saying in the industry is content is king. And it's so true. It almost doesn't matter what you put up. If you've got a body of content somewhere that's self-created, people will start to notice you.
Yeah.
And that's inadvertently, that's the route that I took, but it's worked out really well for me. And it's a great sort of outside the box way to get yourself ahead in this industry. So
you decided, once you started doing this, you ultimately did this so that you could act. Mm-hmm. But once you started doing it, you're like, hey, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. I realized that it's kind of fun to be in control of everything, to be the mastermind. And so I sort of fell in love with the production aspect of it, and a lot of it came from me looking at myself on the camera and thinking, why is it soft right there? Why is the lighting weird on my face right there? And sort of trying to figure out, to make myself look better.
Right.
But ultimately, it was a skill that I was able to use in a much larger context.
I always tell my clients when they come in, I always give them I tell them how their body looks in front of a camera. Like, you need to be aware of that. If you're an actor and you don't know how you look in front of a camera, I mean, to me, that's basic. Mm-hmm. And so what you did, you taught yourself, because you're like, you thought you were doing great, and then you looked at it and you're like, mm-hmm. What causes this? So I always tell, actors, film yourself just so you can understand, and I give people, basic pointers for their body type. When you're acting, obviously the director is going to tell you where to be, but you can control the little slight angles that are going to make you look better.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And I feel like when I do, book the occasional acting gig, I feel like I've got a little bit of an edge, because I can ask what camera angle they're using, or what focal length they have on their lens, so that I know if I'm going to be, if it's going to be this tight or this tight. I also have the experience of seeing myself on the screen. I know that sometimes if I think that I look angry, maybe I look constipated. And so there's a whole, that saves me a whole moment of embarrassment on set.
Exactly.
When I already know that I have the tendency to put these things on. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So you do, you run your own production company. You have, you do a lot of commercials. You do a lot of projects for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You cast your own things, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
so
correct.
Tell me, as a casting director, what is it when people send you headshots, what is it that turns you on, turns you off? Like, what catches your eye? What turns you away?
Yeah, the real hard truth about this is that so for work, for my job, most of what I do is industrial corporate work, and of course we need actors for that. And you'll see a lot of listings for these on Facebook or on Craigslist or whatever saying industrial corporate, and it'll be a simple gig, usually a single day rate. But the most important thing here is that it's a job, and that if the producer's like me, they're usually asking at the last possible minute that they could be asking. And really, the most surefire way that you can get yourself that job is to be the first one to send in your headshot and resume. And I know it's not like that necessarily with other gigs where where the acting is really important. And obviously we want to work with great actors, and we want to work with people that are easy to work with. And so I would say the most important thing is get your headshot in there. The last thing that I went out looking for actors for, I ended up booking the very first person who sent me their resume and headshot, just because I needed somebody and that person fit the bill. And 5 or 6 other people came in after her, but it's,
Well, I know when Merrick's on here, he's always saying the same thing. If you're on LA casting, get into a routine where you're checking your email regularly, because if you get an email at 10 a.m. and you don't submit until 10 p.m., you might as well forget it, because there's so many people. I've heard that there's like an average of 5,000 submissions for a big commercial job. So if you get, even if just an audition, like, that's amazing, because they're sorting through all these things. Now, another thing that is very popular right now, and I see it done quite a bit, I see on casting calls, it'll say, if we pick you, we're going to want a self-tape audition. So give us some tips on self-taping. Yeah,
this is a really interesting one, because self-tapes, obviously the most important thing is your acting. Obviously you want to present yourself in the best angle and the best light that you can. But there's a couple of things production-wise that you can do to make yourself stand out. And not that casting directors really give a crap about whether you're lit well or whether your sound is good. But if your sound is good and you're lit well, then you will automatically appear to be a better actor.
It's true. You're going to look better. You're going to look better on camera. You're going to appear to always look better on camera, even if it's just the lighting.
Absolutely. And so there's a couple of quick cheap tips that I can impart to kind of set yourself apart from the other actors who might be sending self-tapes. And the first one is most important is sound, I would say. And you might hear this a lot, that an audience will tolerate a bad picture, but they'll never tolerate bad sound. And it's true. You watch any sort of student-made film where they're they're only using their camera's internal mic or something, and it's painful. It doesn't matter what the story is. It hurts your ears, So you want to make sure that your sound is coming through crisp and clear. And there's a couple of ways to do this on a budget. The first that I can think of is whatever you're recording with. If you're recording with an iPhone, if you happen to have an external voice recorder, make sure that it's close to you. Make sure because the distance between your mouth and whatever your recording device is, it exponentially affects the quality. Second, if you've got $30 or so to spare, there are great lav mics on Amazon that you can purchase. Get yourself a lav mic. It sounds like it might be an extra step, but it takes you so much further to have that clear quality coming out.
And most of those you can plug right into an iPhone or an Android. Like when you're looking, they do have it to where you can plug right into your cell phones if you are recording just on your cell phone.
Absolutely. There's a specific model that I'm thinking of. I'm gonna plug it, but I don't work for these people. But it's the Boya M1 something. It's a Boya mic that's $30, and it plugs straight into your iPhone or your camera, and it's great. The quality is broadcast quality. Definitely invest in this before you invest in anything else. Next is lighting. You want to make sure that you're lit well, and that you pop out from your background. And so if you've got windows in your house, film near a window where there's a lot of natural light coming in already, because natural light is going to make you look the prettiest. There's hard light and soft light, and anytime you can film outdoors or near a window, you're going to get that soft light from the outside coming in, and you really that's what people call studio lighting, or really beauty lighting, I think, is what you hear the most. So if you can get yourself in soft light, also pull yourself away from the background. So rather than fitting yourself, a lot of actors I see will cram themselves in a corner because they want a neutral background or something. And if the casting director is asking for a neutral background, definitely honor that request. But if there's no background specified, you can really take advantage of what's called shallow depth of field, that even smartphones have this now, where if you're standing close enough to the lens, you'll notice that the background will soften itself out of focus and give you a really cinematic look. And it'll also make you really pop out from your background. So definitely, if no background has been specified, try to bring yourself away from a background rather than right into the corner, because that's how you avoid casting ugly shadows behind you.
So I was going to say, is the shadows. People don't realize that's so distracting to have that harsh shadow right behind you, and and you're going to get that if you're close to a wall. So the further away you can get, the better.
How unprofessional.
How unprofessional is that?
We'll be right back. Get yourself, invest the $30 in a professional mic or recorder. Get yourself nicely lit, either using windows or any lights that you might have around the house. Pull yourself away from the background to create a nice distinguishment between you, the subject, and what's behind you. These are all things that you can do to sort of make yourself stand out from the rest of the talent, the sea of talent that you'll be competing with, whilst not breaking your budget.
The other thing that you might not know, if you get your headshots taken at Portraits by Peggy for a year after your headshot date, you can come in and I will do self-tapes for you for almost nothing. Super, super good packages that I have out there. So if that's something that interests you, definitely contact me. But I have a lot of people that come to the studio and do self-tape because the more professionally you look, it's just that extra little edge. It's just that,
Absolutely.
And I understand it's usually that, oh my God, I need a self-tape tonight or, tomorrow morning. And, but, it does help. If you absolutely can't have it and all you're doing is, it does, that little edge does help.
Absolutely. And if you're able to get a videographer to help you out or an expert photographer like Peggy, then it takes so much of the stress out of the process, and you can just focus on your acting rather than trying to become a videographer for a night. And,
right.
Yeah.
But, who knows? Maybe they turn into a videographer for a night and decide that that's their calling like you did.
Yep. Maybe you'll be the next Patrick. But yeah.
So, but I really enjoyed you coming on. What else would you like to tell our listeners? Anything that you want to point out that we missed?
I think we went through all of it. I wanted to mention. No, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the link below this, I'm going to put information how to contact Patrick, and you can check out some of his work. Like he said, he normally does a lot of corporate stuff. In fact, we accidentally met on set one time at a mutual friend that we didn't know was a mutual friend.
Yep, it happens. It really does happen.
But it was, it's always nice to see, keep him busy and doing a lot of work. And I think that you had a lot of really good advice, and I think you really take it to heart, because in this business, so many people are going for the same position, and it could be something silly like, well, the director didn't like the freckle on your face. You don't know, or so you just do everything you can to stand out and look as professional as possible.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thank you for coming on. I really, really had fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
And please make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe, share, leave me comments, and look at the link below, because I will have all your information in there.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
That was super fun.
I think we did pretty good.
I think so too. I think we killed it.
I thought I had everything off my Sam school alarm.
All good.
Oh, okay. So you think we can just cut it and keep going?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, however you want to do it.
Yeah, we can just cut it and keep going, right?
Yeah.
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 All right.